Hello and welcome, everybody, to another episode of the After Buzz podcast. My name is Nico, Jimmy, your host of the After Buzz, and of course, Buzz Adams is here.
Hello.
What's
Hello. You got the hiccups or something?
Yeah, I just got some hiccups real quick. Mm-hmm. Oh, and it sucks when I have to kind of like force it down when I'm on air and like.
How often do you get the hiccups? Only get the hiccups maybe a couple of times a year. That's pretty normal, right? If you get them a lot, I wonder if is that a sign of anything?
It's something with my hernia. I don't know why. Like it forces like a hiccup or something. Like I'll be talking during the news and I'll definitely be feeling it and be like, I'll have to take a couple gulps or it's kind of hard to keep a cadence.
And welcome to AARP talk.
And welcome to AARP. Welcome to another episode of the After Buzz. We still haven't finished our bizarre historical facts.
Yeah, but we only got 10 to go, right?
We only have a couple to go. That's right. We were talking about a lot this morning, and I had a neckline call of somebody that I'm still trying to find it. So if you want to help cover the time, that'd be great.
Sure.
We want to just tell everybody what we're talking about.
Here, I just paused.
Oh.
And you see? Just like that.
The magic of editing.
We found it.
So we were talking about longshoremen and their strike today. It's going to be on the East Coast and in the Gulf of Mexico. And Buzz brought up that, there's a lot of criminal ties to historically to unions and specifically
the ILA.
Who was Jimmy Hoffa in charge of? Teamster, right?
Teamster,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here is that call.
Hey, good morning, Marshall. Edgar here. So the New York Post has an article this morning about that mob guy living in a real big mansion with a Bentley and all kinds of luxuries. And I think he actually does have mob ties. So check it out. Have a good day, guys.
He's talking about Harold Daggett. And they're saying that the pictures of his house and everything, the cars that he drives, it does make him look like a kind of a gangster.
So the caller started it by saying that mob guy. I mean, I'm sure he would have an objection to that, but you don't work in anything having to do with construction or dock workers in New York City. It just comes with the territory. You're going to deal with sanitation. You're going to be dealing with mobsters.
Right.
Either that or The Sopranos totally lied to me.
Also, we got an email from our regular listener and friend, Derek Terry. We were talking about the OJ verdict today. Why were we? Was it an anniversary of the OJ verdict? Or
yeah, today it was the anniversary of the OJ verdict.
And so I mentioned an anecdote about my mom pulling my brother and I out of school specifically to watch it. And even to this day, I still find it kind of weird. Like, why did she want us to see this verdict? And
this is part of American history.
I think that's exactly what she thought.
Maybe you were going to learn, like, and this is why crime doesn't pay. And then they came back with innocent, and it's like,
well, maybe the crime does
maybe
pay.
Crime does pay.
Derek Terry writes us. Did you see the email about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he goes, when they read the OJ verdict, I was a manager at Sam's. Everyone gathered around the TV section at Sam's. As the verdict was read aloud, all those white people glared at me.
Well, I mean, did he, like, yell in celebration? Was he like, yeah, OJ, the juice is loose? Because a lot of people were. They covered this. And they were talking to white people and African-American people. And they really made it like, a stark contrast. There were people dancing in the streets if they were happy with the innocent verdict. And then other people are like,
that's a good question.
We're no longer going to be safe because now murder's legal.
Well, he doesn't say that necessarily, or what the circumstances were. He just says, everyone gathered around the TV section. As the verdict was read aloud, all the white people glared at me. Get this. My general manager said, do you want to take the rest of the day off to celebrate?
Okay. So, Derek, you could write back in, tell us the truth. What was your action that came right before people glaring at you?
Do you want to take the rest of the day off to celebrate?
And what did Derek say?
Well, he says, I was afraid to be a black at that moment. not a proud day for some of us.
Not a proud day?
Yeah, I don't think he was like cheering and stuff.
Okay. I mean, why would people just like look at the black guy like he
Racism?
wasn't on the but he wasn't on the jury. I mean, a reasonable person.
Well, you want to celebrate now?
If you were like, woo, yeah.
Racism. All right. What are you looking through? Why are you like going through your computer right now?
Looking at the house for the Teamsters. I mean, not the Teamsters, the Longshoremen's union president.
Was it pretty big? Oh my God!
Legitimately, and I'm not just saying this because of how he talks. That looks like the house they used in The Sopranos for Tony's house.
That's a 10-acre compound.
Yeah, this is a multi-millionaire's house.
Okay. Fuck this guy.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're going to see what we can do. We're going to cripple this country. We're going to bring America to its knees.
Yeah, no, fuck this guy.
Fuck you. I'm sorry. And I definitely would not say this if I were on the air in New Jersey because, you get yourself a pair of concrete overshoes like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's get into our final bizarre historical facts. Yeah. 91. Jimmy Carter was the first president to go on record as having seen a UFO.
I know this story.
You do?
It was before he was president. It might have been before he was governor of Georgia, but he said that he was maybe duck hunting or out. Anyway, he saw a light in the sky that he observed for a period of time and said it was a UFO. Now, astronomers have weighed in on this. In fact, Carl Sagan, one of the most famous astronomers ever, said, well, if you calculate what was in the night sky that night and which direction, President Carter was almost certainly observing the planet Venus.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
Yeah.
Did this come up in his presidential campaign? I imagine.
I remember hearing about it. I don't know about it in his campaign, but at some point in his presidency at least.
Number 92, blast from the past. In 1996, the famous pirate ship for Blackbeard, his ship called the Queen Anne's Revenge, was found off the coast of North Carolina.
Okay.
31 cannons and 250,000 artifacts have been recovered. It wasn't like floating off. It was like It was sunk.
Why did you call it a blast? I thought you were talking about that World War II bomb that went off at a Japanese airport.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a blast from the past, huh?
One of the artifacts on the Queen Anne's Revenge was a urethral syringe. Now, do you know what this was used for?
I'm going to guess it's a syringe that goes in your urethra.
Yes, but specifically to treat syphilis with mercury.
Oh, okay.
They would get liquid mercury and shoot it into your dong. Plot twist, mercury does not, in fact, kill or cure syphilis.
Oh, so they were going through that, and it didn't do any good?
It didn't do it. It gave you mercury poisoning.
Austin Powers was right. Sailors are filthy buggers. Filthy buggers.
93. Thomas Jefferson had a 38-year-long affair with one of his slaves, Sally Hemings, and he may be the father of her children.
Sure. I think there was a big controversy because they had a reunion this was a longstanding tradition. All of the descendants from Thomas Jefferson who could prove that, they're descended from Thomas Jefferson would have a big Thomas Jefferson family reunion. Well, they were all white.
Wow.
And there were some people who were like, we are descended from Thomas Jefferson, and they were able to prove it sufficiently enough. I don't know if they went, but they got invited to the Thomas Jefferson thing. So I think, that's pretty much an acknowledgement that there are African-American people in America today who are descended from Thomas Jefferson.
94, standing really tall. Every single member of Teddy Roosevelt's family owned a pair of stilts.
Teddy Roosevelt.
They often...
I thought you were going to say owned a pair of jodhpurs. Do you know what those are?
Those like riding pants or something?
Yeah, like the pants with the big puffy hips.
Pantaloons almost.
Yeah.
They walked around the White House on them all the time for fun.
Okay.
Just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean you can't have a little bit of fun with stilts. Everybody got stilts. Isn't that crazy? 95. He just couldn't bear it. Teddy bears got their name when Teddy Roosevelt refused to shoot a small bear cub, prompting a toy manufacturer to start making cute stuffed animals and calling them teddy bears.
Wait, why was shooting a bear cub even on the table? Oh, because it was probably like 1890.
Yeah, it's like 1890, 1900. Yeah.
I need a tiny little rug for my bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill the baby. Oh, man.
That's good.
Nobody's mistreated a bear cub in the public arena since, except for RFK, since Teddy Roosevelt. That was a long way to get there. I might not have stuck the landing.
I see how you got there.
It was like a 7.8.
That was decent, yeah. 96. What speech giveth? During his second run for president, Teddy Roosevelt was shot after a failed assassination.
Are these all Teddy Roosevelt for the last few?
You know, a couple have themes like this.
Okay.
Teddy Roosevelt was shot after a failed assassination attempt, but instead of going to the hospital,
Finished his speech.
he insisted on giving a planned speech with the bullet still lodged in his chest. The bullet was reportedly slowed by the thick papers in Roosevelt's coat pocket on which his speech was written.
I wonder if he's reading the speech and he's like, and I say unto you, okay, I can't read this part.
There's
the
a hole.
holes there.
Do you know we actually have some of the first x-rays ever, and some of them are of Teddy Roosevelt? We have his x-rays still.
You could make a really good case that Teddy Roosevelt was not only the manliest president.
One of the best presidents, probably, too.
But just one of the manliest
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
human beings in America to ever live.
97. Gun control. Andrew Jackson was apparently involved in over 100 duels.
Story is that Andrew Jackson was thin-skinned, quick to take insult, and definitely willing to ask somebody to step outside, not to duke it out, but to shoot it out.
100 duels, almost all of which were to fight for his wife's honor.
What were they saying about his wife?
Well, why?
I once saw Andrew Jackson's wife's ankle.
Yeah.
How dare you! Then he slaps the guy across the face with his glove.
That is a great point.
Pistols at dawn.
Because it goes on to say why her honor was constantly besmirched is another story.
What? Oh, all right.
Okay, do you kind of want to look that up?
Yeah, hold on. I'm pausing.
We're not doing this for everything, okay? Right. That's just a convenience.
But don't you want to know?
Yeah.
Why was Andrew Jackson's wife besmirched? That's what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a divorcee. You know, this woman once had sex with another man.
What?
Yeah, she looks kind of like a Hellcat. Let's see.
There's some bigamy.
Rachel
claim.
Jackson, the
Profligate.
What's that word mean?
I think it means like slutty.
The profligate woman. Not only was Rachel a divorcee, but rumor had it that she and Andrew Jackson had lived together before she was legally separated from her husband. Yeah.
Bigamy.
Yeah. No, who gives a shit? Right?
Profligate means recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources.
Oh. Okay.
Or it can also mean a licentious, dissolute person. He is a drunkard and a profligate.
So here's what one historian writes about Rachel Jackson, Andrew Jackson's wife. Because of the rumors about her, the happy, fun-loving woman, saddened by the slanders, withdrew from kind of like public life.
Oh, do you see? The campaign which preceded this election was the most abusive and slanderous that his enemies could contrive and was not equaled in American history until the 20th century.
Wait.
You mean the next century?
I think the 21st century. I mean, I can't think of... I mean, what was worse in the 1900s?
Oh, I mean, I bet there were some dirty races.
There might have been, but on a presidential level, I mean, it was always pretty cordial. There might have been some
Nixon,
dirty tricks behind...
JFK...
I mean, they still shook hands and talked to each other and chatted pleasantly at the debates.
Oh, well, I guess what you're saying is like the personal aspect of campaigning has maintained its, well, until the 21st century, maintained its cordiality.
Until 2016.
But people were writing terrible things about JFK's sex life and like the rumor mills and the kind of way you would portray somebody.
You know what? The legacy media, so print and reporters from television and radio, didn't report on what they all probably knew about these rumors, but they didn't report on it because it was, number one, not an issue of public, not a matter of public discourse, and none of their business.
Well,
Or you could say,
until
well,
later,
they covered up for him after he died.
Until later, because they got the legacy media did not hold those standards when they covered.
But when Kennedy
Bill Clinton
was, yeah, but I'm just saying for Kennedy, it was a different time. You overlooked that. What a man did, behind closed doors was their own business. So that this was the olden days, but I think that was a pretty good policy. We should probably return to that. Whatever personal stuff, as long as you're not breaking the law or you're not hurting anybody, is up to you. I mean, if I'm JFK and Maryland's just there, I'd probably go for it.
98, a museum piece. James Garfield was shot in the back with a 5-barrel, 44 caliber pistol called a British Bulldog.
Oh.
When asked why he selected that gun, the assassin Charles Guiteau said he thought it would look good in a museum someday.
Gotta see what this. Oh, it shows a picture of the wrestler,
The British
Bulldog.
Look, put gun next to it.
You're listening to the Wikipedia show, I guess. I mean, it's just a revolver, old timey looking revolver.
Why did you use this one? I think it will look good in a museum someday. Whoa, weirdo.
Pretty self aware.
99. Nail in the coffin. During the 7th century BC, ancient Roman Vestal virgins were required to keep their hymens intact as proof of virginity until the age of 30.
After 30 they
were allowed to marry.
Oh.
Yeah. They had done their duty.
Oh, okay. So I'd always heard the penalty was death if they broke their virginal vows.
It was not just death. It was being buried alive.
Mm-hmm.
Vestal virgins who engaged in sexual conduct didn't have a happy ending. 100. Praying for a good poop. The inhabitants of ancient Rome had a sewer goddess, a toilet god, and a god of excrement separately.
Wow. That sounds like a description of the morning show. I don't know what that even means.
A sewer goddess? So you're the toilet god, I'm the god of excrement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a bunch of shit talk going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I like that.
I am the god of excrement.
The gods were said to frequent the latrine in large numbers, and excrement was regarded as the food of the dead.
Gross, Romans.
That was kind of good. Good. Let the poop flow through you. 101.
What? I thought there were only
I got a
100.
couple more.
Oh, okay.
Dental hygiene matters. Did you know urine was used in ancient Rome to wash clothes because of the ammonia?
I did.
It was also used to whiten their teeth.
Again, Romans. They often say, why did Rome fall? I think it was probably a lot of reasons, and brushing their teeth with pee is probably one of them.
102. All in favor of the free carrots bill. The Roman Emperor Gaius Caligula made his horse a senator. Caligula also committed incest with his sisters, fed prisoners to wild beasts, and, strangely enough, had conversations with the moon.
Caligula, you say?
Caligula.
Caligula was not his name.
No, that was
Caligula
means a little boot.
It means little boots.
Yeah. I think it was Germanicus is his real name. Mm-hmm. His father, Germanicus, was supposed to be emperor. 103. Ancient cookbook. 100 uses of gladiator fluids. Ancient Roman women wore the sweat of gladiators to improve their beauty and complexion. Romans also used to drink gladiator blood because they thought the blood of these strong and fierce beings had the power to cure epilepsy.
Apparently, gladiators had groupies, and not just like women of noble birth wanted to get that sweat applied directly from the source. They had sex with the gladiators, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Oh, I believe that. And 104. Let's say this is the last one.
Right.
Ever thought about how much of a win the invention of toilet paper was?
Win?
Yeah.
W-I-N?
Mm-hmm.
Beats leaves and corn cobs, I guess.
Ancient Romans used a sponge on a stick called a spongia to clean themselves after pooping. Public facilities had a long marble bench with holes on top for the obvious thing and holes at the front for the sponge sticks. There was no door or dividing walls between them. You sat right next to your friend and did what you have to do. Once you had done your business, you would rinse the sponge in a channel of running water at your feet.
But
without standing or revealing anything, you would push the sponge through the hole at the front, give your bottom a solid wipe, rinse off the spongia, and leave it
for the next bloke,
for the next person to use.
Hey, since we got on the topic of bathroom stuff, this isn't gross or anything. I was reading an article and it was it wasn't an article, it was like Reddit, but it was like, hey, foreigners, tell us the thing that surprised you the most about America. And one of them was, in American bathrooms, you can see through the crack in the bathroom door, like a public bathroom. You know, I guess they don't have. Why do they have that? Because you can fully see in and out in most bathrooms, right?
I guess the assumption is, well, if I see you looking in, I'm going to say something.
Why even do that? I thought there must be some practical reason.
Don't look in.
But people, I think the person was from the UK, was like, why don't your public bathroom doors, block people's view? What's the point?
Oh, I forgot. I have two more. 105. Take that, Cristiano Ronaldo. Roman charioteers earned more than even the best paid soccer players or international sports stars of today. That's according to academic research, where they figured out one charioteer named Gaius Apuleius Diocles amassed a fortune that they estimate at about $15 billion USD today.
Not every gladiator was
a charioteer.
No.
This was a charioteer I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
You're talking about gladiator. Okay.
Not every gladiator was a slave. Some people who were born free, even some of noble birth, decided to do it because, it's like being a football star, a basketball star. Did you know that? Some people would go into the gladiator game because they were passionate about it. They weren't forced to do it, like in the Russell Crowe movie. 106.
106. We finally found the Lost Legion. Inhabitants of the Chinese town of Liqian have blonde hair and white skin. Historians have speculated that they are the descendants of a lost Roman settlement. The most common theory is that the Liqian features are linked to the legend of the missing army of Roman general Marcus Crassus. Basically, the Parthians massacred most of the Roman troops Crassus sent into battle. 10,000 Romans survived and were captured. They were forced to fight for various rulers, eventually settling in China.
Is that a fact or conjecture?
It is conjecture, or speculation.
You know how we could test this? Ask the people in Liqian, China.
Speak some loud.
To wipe their ass and see how they do it. If they reach for a sponge that another guy used, Roman.
I have one more. 107.
Jesus Christ.
This one's interesting. It's because I keep seeing some that are really interesting. After the wedding night, a modest Roman wife was never supposed to let her husband see her naked again.
I watched Rome, and they were kind of letting everybody see him naked.
Consequently, it may be no surprise that the philosophers who argue that a man shouldn't have sex with anybody but his wife won very few converts to their side. And with bizarre historical facts.
All right. I could tell you're reading those. Do you want to name your source here?
Factinate.com.
Factinate?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to check that out. It might be do they have a lot of history lists and things?
You know what's hilarious is we've run through this entire conversation at the first episode where you were like, what is this? And I was like, Factinate.
Yeah,
and you were like, Factinate, that sounds cool. And then you looked it up and you were like, oh, this has a bunch of historical things on here that I think I would like. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to go through that again right now?
No.
Okay.
Because I had forgotten that conversation and I had forgotten what the name of the website was.
So you would say you don't have a great memory?
Some stuff sticks and some don't.
That was a damning non-answer, as Tim Walls would say. All right. That's going to do it for today's episode of the AfterBuzz podcast. Check us out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Don't forget to listen to the regular Buzz Adams morning show, morning 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday on 95.5 KLAQ, El Paso's Best Rock.
Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com.